Hey, baddies. It is your OG, triple OG plus size baddie, April, coming to you today for another Baddie to Baddie production podcast. So, today we have joining us Miss Arlene. Hi, Arlene. How are you?
Hi, April. I'm well. Excited to be here. How are you?
I am doing well on this hot July day. I know we're in the midst of a heat wave and just trying to stay inside and trying to stay cool. How about yourself?
Absolutely. It hit 102 in Southern California where I'm at right now. So, one last day of heat wave. Glad to make it out on the other end in one piece.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm over on the East Coast in South Carolina. So today we're actually having a day that's not in the 90s, which is nice, especially when you have to walk outside with your dog.
How humid does it get out there?
Um, even though it's not in the 90s, I think it's like 89, 80, between 87 and 89 today, but it
Mhm.
still feels hotter than that. It
Yeah.
feels like real muggy, and then after it rains,
Oof.
oh my gosh,
Oof.
it's like it takes the wind out of you when you walk outside. It's so humid. So it feels a lot warmer than it truly is here. So on our really hot days when it was above 90 and even in the
Mhm.
100s, it's unbearable. So my heart goes out to those who are in the heat working or who are without a home and they're outside all day. It's just, I can't imagine.
Yeah. Can't imagine.
Yeah. So, congratulations on being the recipient, one of the recipients of the In Purpose on Purpose scholarship.
Thank you
It's
so much.
exciting. You're
Very,
welcome.
very grateful to receive the scholarship.
Great. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, you've already mentioned that you're from Southern California or you live in Southern California.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, my name's Arlene Tjoarman. I'm currently 35. Um, let's see, I guess just starting from the very beginning, I am a stage 1A, like 12-15% ER positive invasive ductal carcinoma breast cancer survivor,
Mm-hmm.
originally diagnosed in February 2019. Um, I was in grad school out in Michigan, pretty much all by myself. Like it was my second year of grad school. I had my classmates, but like I didn't know them going in to this program. I didn't have any friends or family out in Michigan. I grew up in Southern California, and then I just felt a lump one day. Went to the school's like doctor annual checkup sort of appointment. Nurse
Mm-hmm.
practitioner felt it and immediately was very much like, "Oh, you're Asian. You're too young. It's in the wrong place, like on the breast, because it's like on the lower quadrant." And they're like, "Oh, I don't think. I think it's a benign lump. Like it's not an. It shouldn't be anything. Asians typically don't get breast cancer. I don't have the family background history. Um, so she was pretty lighthearted about it, but I will give it to her. She did encourage me to go get an ultrasound just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, the following week, I got an ultrasound. And during the ultrasound, they said the exact same thing, but they're like, just to be sure, let's get you a biopsy. And the thing that like made me hesitate was that it was like it would cost me 2 grand with insurance on top of insurance out of pocket to pay for this biopsy.
Oh my
And for
God.
me, yeah, and but at that point, I was in grad school. I was taking already taking out a massive student loan for my graduate degree, so it just felt like a drop in the bucket at that point. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like just add it to the giant tab at this point, and like just go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and get that biopsy. So I got that biopsy the week before my finals. Monday night of finals week, I get a call from the resident who did the biopsy on me, to just very bluntly on the phone, I still remember it's like 7 o'clock at night, just going, "Oh, yeah, sorry, that wasn't benign. You have breast cancer." And I was just blindsided, just completely like my brain practically like short circuited. And I'm on the phone asking her, "Oh, what stage do you think it is?" Because at this point, I'm not very familiar with cancer. I don't know much
Mhm.
about it. And she goes, "Oh, I think you're probably stage 2 or 3."
Oh my God.
And that was the only information I got, before, she goes off the phone. So here I am freaking out. Fortunately, got some still came across some really absolutely lovely people. The original
Mhm.
nurse practitioner that I went to the very first appointment from had also received that notification that I had got diagnosed with breast cancer that
Mhm.
night. About 10, 15 minutes later, she calls me on her private cell phone. It's after work hours for her. She's giving me her private number because she remembered that, I'm a graduate student. She asked, found out that, I didn't have any friends or family out in Michigan. And she's like, "Here, call me, reach me if you ever need anything, need someone to talk to, have any questions or concerns." Like, she's there. And, I've only met her with that one initial appointment. So I was just really grateful to have someone to be there as support. I mean, not that I
Yeah.
really ended up reaching back out to her, but it was just really kind of her to do so in that moment
Yeah.
where, I was still in shock and like reality wasn't even sinking in. So
Yeah.
here I am calling my family. They're freaking out. My cousin's crying because the only thing she heard was stage 3.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then so after that, got the research facility, the university's hospital, the tumor board met together. They finally reviewed everything and they came back. And the surgeon was like, "Oh, we actually think you're stage 1B, not 2 or
Okay.
3." Whew.
Mhm. Which
At
was a
that time,
relief, I'm sure.
oh, yeah. And at that time, I was about 2 months out from graduation. And so my surgeon and I agreed that, like, we didn't have time for a mastectomy, double mastectomy, any mastectomy. Just go ahead with a lumpectomy first, get treatment, and then later on, if I ever want to do a mastectomy, it's always an option available later on. Um,
Okay.
it was just because I was out in Michigan, I was about to graduate. And after my family heard about the diagnosis, they're like, "Yeah, you're going to come home for the rest of treatment back in California."
Mhm.
So that was agreed upon. And I don't know what it is, something about breast cancer and birthdays. So I got a lumpectomy 2 days before my 30th birthday. The
Mm.
doctors were like, "Congratulations, you get to shower on your birthday and ring in your 30th."
Well, that is definitely a relief because it could have been, it could have gone a different way.
Yes. Yeah, I'm super grateful that they had caught it early. Because after my surgery, they're like, "Oh, actually, you're not stage 1B, you are stage 1A, confirmed with the entire piece of tumor like out of you." Um, and from then on, I ended up finishing the triple whammy of treatments. Flew back to California after I graduated in May. Started and finished, I believe it was 12, 16 rounds of chemo. Started off
Mhm.
with Taxol, finished off with AC, aka the Red
Mhm.
Devil, and
Mhm.
then did like I think 30 something rounds of radiation. I can't even remember how many rounds of radiation I did. Um,
Mhm.
Finished at the end of 2019. December 2019 was when I was finished with all of my
Mm.
treatments. So I am 4.5 years out, almost about to hit my 5-year cancer anniversary in December. Really hoping smooth sailing until then. So close, so close.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is awesome and amazing that, you were able to, well, for one, it's kind of like a catch 22 with the start. They were saying,
Yeah.
oh, giving you all these reasons why it couldn't have been cancer, but still at the same time, they were recommending that you take the next step. So I understand why you gave them a pass. And then it was very comforting that the nurse practitioner reached out to you after receiving the news and, sharing her personal information with you so that you would have somebody that you
Yeah.
could confide in. So that was good because a lot of people don't experience that. And then being able to go back and have the support of your family while you went through chemotherapy and radiation. So, yeah, that sounds like it definitely started off rocky, but it ended off seems pretty sweet, which was good. So, was there ever a difficult time during your journey? I mean, the whole thing is difficult, right? Nobody wants to
Oh
hear
yeah.
that you have cancer, but after returning home and going through treatment, how was it after everything was over?
Ugh. That was when I hit my darkest of times and lowest of lows.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so because I had finished graduate school, came home and just focused on treatment. I was unemployed at that time. Everyone told me not to stress about looking for a job while I was going through treatment, focus on prioritizing my health, which it made sense.
Hmm.
But as I had mentioned, by the time I had finished treatment, it was December 2019. I was still bald. My hair was slowly starting to grow back very slowly. And here I am trying to, you know, get my health back and try to look normal, trying to get
Hmm.
back on the job market, and was just really struggling. And then I hit March 2020 when COVID hit and everything shut down.
The world shut down.
Um, the world shut down. And on top of that, that like massive cheerleading support that I had gotten from all my friends, family, classmates, everyone who was aware of what I was going through just got pulled out. That rug just got pulled out underneath me.
Mm,
Because for them, it was very much like, oh, you're done with treatment now. Like, go back to your normal life. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, you're cured. Um, like, you're good to go. Mm-mm,
mm-mm, mm-mm.
no.
I wish it was
And
that simple.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I still remember like I had a family member and I know she meant well, but she was very much like, "Oh, just pretend that you like never experienced this and like just go on with your life." And I know what she actually meant was that she just didn't want me to stress out about scans and
Hmm.
checkups. But, the words that she had chosen and the tone that she had used just did not come out right. And for me, it's just very much like, no, it's never going to be normal because anytime I feel any sort of tingling, any sort of weird pain shock through my body, I need to go get it
Hmm.
checked out. Any
Hmm.
random lump that I feel, like, it's never going to go back to what it was.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I hit a really low point, and I guess fortunately for me, right around COVID, when I stumbled upon the breasties.
Hmm.
And the SoCal Breasties started doing monthly Zoom sessions right around
Okay.
when COVID started instead of in-person meetings.
Hmm.
Um, and every month just got together with this group of absolutely most caring, empathetic, and raw and real group of girls just sharing our experience. And they were really the ones that really helped get me through that dark and lonely time. Um,
Hmm.
just being able to catch up every month and being able to hear their stories and know that, I am not alone. But not only that, they understood what I had gone through. They know what it's like. They're not dismissive of my emotions, my feelings, because they've gone through something similar or they are currently going through something similar.
Hmm.
So
Hold
very,
on for
very grateful
Arlene.
to
Hold on for just a second. Let me get you to hold on. Let me pause for just a minute because yep. Okay. So sorry for that interruption. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. So thank you for sticking with me, Arlene. So you were in the midst of saying that March 2020 hit. It was
yep.
your lowest moment, and you stumbled upon the Breasties virtual meetup. and how
Yes.
they being able to participate in those virtual meetups was the point that you started coming out of that dark place because they were able to provide community for you. So picking back
Yes.
up from there.
Yeah, just really grateful to have come across them. We love to say it's like the worst club with the best members is like the motto
Mhm.
for the Breasties. Super grateful to have these wonderful, strong ladies in my life, but it's just the worst circumstances that we've come together as a group to begin with of having gone through breast cancer together.
Mhm. Absolutely. It's important to find that community that to help
Hmm.
you, through the diagnosis. And although, like you said, your aunt meant well when she said just move on with your life, no one quite understands that once you've had that life-changing diagnosis, that your life is never the same again because there's
Hmm.
things that you experience after treatment,
Yeah,
after chemotherapy, like the constant changes in your body. The drugs that
yeah,
you had to take to fight off the disease, they forever alter your life. You're thrown into menopause. You
yeah.
start dealing with issues like your memory isn't the same or your speech isn't the same, and sleep may become difficult, and nobody understands that better than somebody that's going through it or has been through it. So I'm glad that you were able to
Exactly.
find community um, when the world shut down during COVID. So how
Yes,
did you learn
very.
about For the Rest of Us?
Um, Speaking of the SoCal Breasties, one of the members, Jess Isamoto,
Mm-hmm.
was the one that introduced me to the Baddies. She would send out invites whenever there were Baddie events, um,
Mm-hmm.
or like you know the Instagrams that you guys host. And I
Okay.
remember going to there was like a baddie meetup in LA. It was very much like a painting, one of those, paint and sip events.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So went out to that and just had a wonderful time getting to know other fellow baddies. And most recently, she was also the one that sent out the application for the scholarship that the rest of us had going out. So thank you, Jess, for bringing me into for allowing me to become a baddie.
Yes. We love Jess. Jess is a beautiful spirit that I'm so glad that she's a part of our community. Um, I had the privilege of meeting her when we had our sneaker ball a couple years back,
Oh, that's
and
right.
she's just full of life, full of love, and just
Hmm.
we're grateful to have her a part of our Baddie tribe, as we are also grateful to have you a part of our Baddie tribe. Because now that you've received the scholarship, you've participated in our in-person as well as virtual events, you are officially a Baddie. So welcome to the Baddie Sister Club, okay?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me in.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we're definitely with For the Breast of Us, we focus on meeting having community with women of color. So that's not just
Mhm.
Black women or Hispanic women, but it's also Asian women as well. And we're trying to expand our reach in the Asian community. So we're very happy to have you and would love to have you participate in other opportunities and maybe lead some in the future if you're open to doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Asians, I found out after what the nurse practitioner had assumed that Asians don't get breast cancer. It is that statistic is true for Asians who lived and grew up in Asia. First generation Asians who were born in the United States have the same percentage of getting breast cancer as the general population in the United States. Something's in our water. But that statistic does not hold true once it comes across the border.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So that is a false assumption that Asians do not get breast cancer or have a very low rate of getting it.
I wish that it seems like, everybody was trying to protect you starting from the very beginning. Oh, trying to assure you that it wasn't cancer.
Yeah.
And sometimes that misinformation, just think if you went along with what they said initially and decided, well, I'm not going to get the ultrasound,
Yeah.
or I'm not going to get the biopsy. How detrimental that would have been to your life, your family's life, your friends' lives, the people who you're connected to, if you had not taken that next step.
Yes, absolutely. And especially for mine was treated pretty much almost because my estrogen level was so low.
Mm-hmm.
My treatment was practically a triple negative treatment. And
Mm-hmm.
for those in our community who's aware, triple negative is aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So had I not gotten that ultrasound, that biopsy that I was hesitating to get, I don't know if they would have caught it too late or if it just caught it at a much later stage. And I can't imagine being able to get my health back at that rate or what I would have gone through at that point. I will say I had another fellow friend who had applied to graduate programs at the same time that I did. She was out in Boston. She calls me up about yeah, she called me up when I got diagnosed and said, she too had felt a lump. I convinced her to go get it checked, and her doctor checked it out and very much dismissed her and said, come back in 6 months. She came back in 6 months. That lump had grown, and it was breast cancer. So I gotta, yeah, everyone just needs to learn to advocate for themselves. And if something just intuitively does not feel right, please go get a second opinion. Like
Absolutely.
it's not worth waiting. And as much as you want to reassure yourself that everything's okay, it's better to just double check, get that extra reassurance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, we we've been taught to respect authority, and doctors
Yes,
are authority, and
authority.
we're told to, listen to what your doctor says. But it's a partnership. Nobody can tell you about your body because you live
Yeah.
in your body. You know when something is off in your body. And it's important for doctors to hear what we have to say also. And like you said, get a second opinion if they're not wanting to listen. And important for us to not feel that, oh, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, or I
Mhm,
don't want to insult them. Doesn't matter. Your life
mhm.
is more important than them having their feelings hurt. It's okay. And if their feelings are hurt because you're questioning them, then that's not the right place for you to be anyway. So,
Exactly. But also, if you reach out to another doctor at another hospital, your first doctor might not even be aware that you even got a second opinion. You
no,
don't have
no,
to share that information with them. But also,
absolutely.
doctors are human and human. No one's perfect. Everyone's flawed. Sometimes people make mistakes at work. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, my thoughts and prayers with your friend. How are they doing?
Uh, Fortunately, she had a very slow growing type of breast cancer that apparently only elderly ladies get. So
Yeah.
fortunately, yeah, but she also got diagnosed like right before she turned 30 as well. So it's just crazy how much younger like ladies are coming across breast cancer
Mhm.
for the types that are technically not even we're not even supposed to get. Um,
Mhm.
that is becoming, I believe, a new norm. Either that or we're just better at catching it these days. But either way, fortunately, all she had to do was get surgery and radiation. She did not even have to go through chemo. Um, so just very, very glad that it worked out for her.
Oh, that's
Um,
wonderful. That's
yeah.
wonderful. So now that you're on the other side, Arlene,
Mhm,
what has life been for you since you found community with the breasties
mhm.
as well as with For the Breast of Us, and you finished graduate school, You're in your career. So what has life been post cancer?
Whew, been a roller coaster. Um, I did a 180 with my health and lifestyle. I will
Okay.
admit, during before and during grad school, I lived like a typical person in their 20s, just took my health for granted, stayed up late every night, um, just did not prioritize my health, ate a lot of junk, didn't really exercise much, didn't get enough sleep ever, just didn't really treat my body right. So when I got diagnosed, it was even my family had to sit me down and be like, yeah, you can't keep living this way.
Mm,
But even then, it just made me question because I was like, yeah, but there are other young adults who are living similar lifestyles to me and they're not getting cancer. So it just made me really question everything of like, why me? Why
mhm,
was I the one that got it? But even
mhm,
then, coming out of treatment, um, I remember during treatment, my oncologist was just really recommending me to move to get exercise so that I have energy. It's like you gotta burn off energy to make energy. Our bodies are weird.
mhm,
So that made it that gave me like a task to do, and fortunately, I was able to keep up with it. Um, my suggestion for everyone out there who's not into working out, not into exercising, to just go and try different different activities. You never know which one sticks. It doesn't have to be the most aggressive form of working out, um, whatever it takes for you to move. Fortunately, I was
mhm,
able to sign up for a class pass at that time, and I tried out almost every single type of exercise that was like offered on that platform across different classes, rowing, spinning, CrossFit, like yoga, Pilates, like all of it, right? Before
okay.
coming across and narrowing down and trying to figure out what works for me. And my diet also went through a roller coaster. I freaked
Mhm,
out when I got diagnosed, met up with a dietitian. She's like, no insulin spikes. So I was cutting out processed food, junk food, sugar, red
mhm,
meat, all of it. And that was not a way to live. And funnily enough, I like lost my taste buds when I was going through chemo, when I was taking the
mhm,
Red Devil. There was a week where I couldn't
mm.
taste sugar, and the following week I couldn't taste salt. So my healthy diet just went right out the window because at that point it was all about just getting food into my body. I
Mhm.
lived on a diet of French fries and potato chips, which I think my doctor just thought like, I think that starch just helped soak up the stomach acid and prevented my nausea. So in a way, my body just knew what it needed.
It did when it needed. I
Yeah.
think sometimes the
And
cravings that we have, our body is compensating for what we're missing. So it's craving the thing so that way we can ingest it. So that was,
yeah,
hey, what and when you're in chemo, just eating, just getting the food
yes,
in, just so you can make it through the treatment.
yep. And from there on, I've I've played around with my diet, and it took a while, but I finally come to the realization that that was not a way to live, restricting
Mm,
myself from all the food and just going out and enjoying, especially at social events. Just, being out with friends and being able to eat what everyone else was eating. I've learned that at this point, I'm just going to practice everything in moderation.
moderation
Yeah,
is key.
just yes, moderation is key. Just finding that balance. Not saying that I'm good at it every day, but just trying my best and being kind to myself. And the other
Yeah.
thing coming out of that dark spot was for the first time in my life, I've learned the importance of mental health, especially growing up as Asian. Like mental health was not a vocab that existed in my culture, in my family. To a degree, probably still is not. But that is
Mm,
something that I had picked up on during my treatment. Got into meditation for the very first time. Before
mm,
that, I was like, oh, what is meditation? What is this like, you know, this like spiritual thing that like everyone's talking about? Like, why would I
mhm,
need it? I'm good. I got this. No, I don't got this.
mm.
Uh, Um, and yeah, I think it took about 2 years of meditating into it after everything I had gone through. So right when I got diagnosed, I was so angry at the world, so angry at God, just anything, just very much why me, right? I just have like a list of grievances for any deity that exists in the universe, at the universe. And 2 years after just daily meditation, somehow that anger switch just finally just turned off. And I don't know how much of that is contributed to meditation and how much of that is to exercise and just getting my mind together. But I'm grateful to have reached that point. Um, I like to joke because I run, and I like to joke and say that running makes me too tired to want to um, be mad and want to, punch my family.
Oh gosh. Well, maybe we all should try running if that's the case. But I love that. I love that, Arlene, that you took the time to get your health together, your mental health, your physical health. And, I get so angry when I hear people say that, oh, well, we joke about, I don't know if you've seen on Instagram, there's this page that posts all of these memes about things that you could do
Yep.
to prevent. Oh my gosh, if I hear one more thing or see one more post about eliminating sugar, I'm like,
Mm-mm.
that is no. There's
No.
n- no, no. There are people who have been the picture of health,
Yep.
in great physical shape, have great diets, great mental stability, and they still get diagnosed with cancer. It's our bodies are so unique and so different. That's why, no cancer is the same for two people.
Yeah.
Um, but I commend you with the meditation. I absolutely love meditation and mindfulness. I've gotten into. Have you participated in a sound bath?
I have. They are so calming, so amazing. Sometimes I even just pull up YouTube, put on sound bath in the background when I'm getting work done. It just helps calm me down.
Mm,
And I forgot to mention, I also got into keeping a gratitude journal and regular
mm,
journaling as well.
mm,
Um, for some reason, just writing my thoughts out on paper is almost as I mean, it's nowhere as good as an actual therapist, but it gets me halfway there.
yeah,
Just getting it out of my mind so that I'm no longer ruminating. And gratitude just gives me that positive mindset to focus on the good things in life.
yeah, yeah. That's something we definitely could all benefit from is
Hmm.
writing down things that we're thankful for daily, just as a reminder, because we can get caught up in the world of what's going on in the news, and
Yeah.
especially within the political climate, and getting caught up in the things that are posted on social media, recentering ourselves and putting in the forefront what's important, life, health, and strength, family, friends,
Hmm.
the balance of it all. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. It's been a really
Yeah.
awesome conversation. So I hope that we will see you. I hope to meet you in person soon. We will have
Yes.
some activities coming up with For the Breast of Us next year. We haven't made our official announcement about it yet, but I hope that you'll be able to join us for those activities. And I hope that you will continue to do the local meetups with Jess and
Yeah.
the other California baddies that we'll have with For the Breast of Us. And before we leave, I always like to leave with asking a question, a fun question of sorts. So, would you pick? It's either or. So,
Okay.
I heard you mention that. So, what are your favorite things to eat? Like your favorite foods?
Whew. Um, wanna say hot Cheetos, um, chips
Okay.
are a big one. What else do I like to eat? Um, Probably boba.
Oh, okay. So if you had to pick between hot Cheetos and boba, what would it be?
Ugh, I have to stick with the hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos. I agree. I love hot Cheetos. I love them.
Same.
Your fingers are red for a couple of days after eating them, but that's okay.
Yeah, and I've learned that I have to buy the ones where they have the small packets now in, like, a
Uh-huh.
box of 10,
Mhm.
to portion control myself because if I have the big bag, I just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, can't
Yeah,
have
until,
just
like,
one
I
like a
feel
Lay's
sick.
potato
I
chip.
can't exactly. So I
Yeah.
need the small bags to, like, portion control myself so that I can stop before I feel nauseous from eating too much.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's a good I mean, that's a good tip. If you wanna have something that you enjoy, just get smaller portions of it. Just buy the smaller portions
Yep,
so that way you don't overeat it. So
yep,
that's also a
exactly.
good gem. Well, Arlene, it was a pleasure having conversation with you today. Again, congratulations on receiving the In Purpose on Purpose scholarship. And Baddies, thank you for joining us for another Baddie to Baddie podcast. And we hope to see you again soon. Bye.